ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सच्चिदानंदरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो ब्राह्मणेभ्यो आचार्येभ्यो नदीनदेभ्यो शास्त्रेभ्यो क्षेत्रेभ्यो तीर्थेभ्यो साधकेभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनकादिमुनिभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुभब्रह्मर्षये सूतमहामुनये शौनकादृशेभ्यो अत्र्यादृशेभ्यो प्रह्लादादिभक्तजनेभ्यो वत्स्यादिवतारेभ्यो दत्तात्रेय दक्षिणामूर्ते ग्रीवादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्री आदिपराशक्तिमात्रे नमः। ओम श्री माता पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। आद्य शंकराचार्यवर्यादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिरेत्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ षड्विंशौ अध्यायौ। श्री भगवानुवाच Having invoked the grace of all Bhagavatacharyas, Bhagavatavataras, Bhagavan Krishna, Vyasa, Bhagavan Shukadeva Bhagavan. Now let us chant the 25th chapter, last few slokas, and also few mantras of 26th chapter as a part of chanting. Then we will see the meaning of it. 25th chapter. Let us chant verse number 30th onwards. Om Dravyam Deshah Phalam Kalah Jnanam Karma Cha Karakah Shraddhavastha Akrutirnishtha Traigunyah Sarva Evahi सर्वे गुणमया भावाः पुरुषा व्यक्तधिष्ठिताः दृष्टं श्रुतम् अनुध्यातं बुद्ध्या वा पुरुषर्षभ एताः संश्रुतयः पुंसः गुणकर्मनिबन्धनाः येने मे निर्जिताः सौम्य गुणा जीवेन चित्तजाः भक्तियोगेन मन्निष्ठः मद्भावाय प्रपद्यते तस्मात् देहमिमं लब्ध्वा ज्ञानविज्ञानसम्भवं गुणसङ्गं विनिर्धूय मां भजन्तु विचक्षणाः निस्सङ्गो मां भजेत् विद्वान् अप्रमत्तो जितेन्द्रियः रजस्तमश्चाभिजयेत् सत्त्वसंसेवया मुनिः सत्वं चाभिजयेत् युक्तः नैरपेक्ष्येण शान्तधीः सम्पद्यते गुणैर्मुक्तः जीवो जीवं विहाय माम जीवो जीवविनिर्मुक्तः गुणैश्चाशयसम्भवैः मयैव ब्रह्मणा पूर्णः न बहिर्नान्तरश्चरेत्। इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे गुणत्रयविभागयोगनाम पञ्चविंशोऽध्यायः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः। मुक्तिरेत्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ षड्विंशोऽध्यायः। ऐलगीतं। श्रीभगवानुवाच ओम मल्लक्षणमिमं कायं लब्ध्वा मद्धर्म आस्थितः आनन्दं परमात्मानम् आत्मस्थं समुपैति मां गुणमय्या जीवयोन्या विमुक्तो ज्ञाननिष्ठया गुणेषु मायामात्रेषु दृश्यमानेष्वस्तुतः वर्तमानोऽपि न पुमान् युज्यते वस्तुभिर्गुणैः संगं न कुर्यात् सतां शिष्णोदरतृपां क्वचितो तस्यानुगस्तमस्यन्धे पतत्यन्धानुगान्धवत् ऐळः सम्राट् इमां गाथाम् अगायत बृहत् श्रवाः ऊर्वशी विरहान्मुह्यन् निर्विण्णः शोकसंयमे त्यक्त्वात्मानं व्रजन्तीं तां नग्न उन्मत्तवत् नृपः विलपन्नन्वगात् ज्याये घोरे तिष्ठेति विक्लवः कामान् तृप्तोऽनुजुषन् क्षुल्लकान् वर्षयामिनीः न वेदयान्तीर्नायान्तीः ऊर्वश्या कृष्टचेतनः ऐळ उवाच अहो मे मोहविस्तारः कामकश्मलचेतसः देव्या गृहीतकण्ठस्य नायुः खण्डा इमे स्मृताः नाहं वेदाभिनिर्मुक्तः सूर्यो वाभ्युदितो मुया उषितो वर्षपूगानां बताह निगतानि उत अहो मे आत्मसम्मोहः येनात्मा योषितां कृतः क्रीडामृगश्चक्रवर्ती नरदेवशिखामणिः सपरिच्छदमात्मानं हित्वा तृणमिवेश्वरं यान्तीं स्त्रियं चान्वगमं नग्न उन्मत्तवत् रुदन् कुतस्तस्यानुभावः स्यात् तेज ईशत्वमेव वा योऽन्वगच्छन् स्त्रियं यान्तीं खरवत् पादताडितः किं विद्यया किं तपसा किं त्यागेन श्रुतेन वा किं विविक्तेन मौनेन स्त्रीभिर्यस्य मनोहृतं स्वार्थस्याकोविदं धिङ्मां मूर्खं पंडितं मानिनं योऽहमीश्वरतां प्राप्य स्त्रीभिर्गोखरवत् जितः सेवितो वर्षपूगान्मे ऊर्वश्या अधरासवं न तृप्यति आत्मभूः कामः वह्निराहुतिभिर्यथा पुंशल्यापहृतं चित्तं कोऽन्वन्यो मोचितुं प्रभुः आत्मा रामेश्वरं ऋते भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजं बोधितस्यापि देव्या मे सूक्तवाक्येन दुर्मतेः मनोगतो महामोहः नापयात्यजितात्मनः किमेतया नोपकृतं रज्वा वा सर्पचेतसः रज्जुः स्वरूपा विदुषः योऽहं यद् अजितेन्द्रियः क्वायं मलीमसः कायः दौर्गन्ध्याद्यात्मको शुचिः क्व गुणाः सौमनस्याद्याः यध्यासो विद्यया कृतः पित्रोः किं स्वनुभार्यायाः स्वामिनोऽग्नेः स्वगृध्रयोः किमात्मनः किं सुहृदाम् इति यो नावसीयते तस्मिन् कलेवरे मेध्ये तुच्छनिष्ठे विसज्जते अहो सुभद्रं सुनसं सुस्मितं च मुखं स्त्रियाः त्वं मां सरुधिरस्नायु मेदो मज्जास्ति संहतौ विण्मोत्रपूये रमतां कृमीणां कियदन्तरम् अथापि नोपसज्जेत स्त्रीषु स्त्रैणेषु चार्थवित् विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगात् मनः क्षुभ्यति नान्यथा अदृष्टात् अश्रुतात् भावात् न भाव उपजायते असंप्रयुञ्जतः प्राणान् शाम्यति स्थिमितं मनः तस्मात् संगो न कर्तव्यः स्त्रीषु स्त्रैणेषु चेन्द्रियैः विदुचां चाप्यविस्रब्धः षड्वर्गः किमु मादृशाम् श्रीभगवानुवाच एवं प्रगायन् नृपदेवदेवः स ऊर्वशी लोकमथो विहाय आत्मानमात्मन्यवगम्य मां वै उपारमज्ञानविधूतमोहः ततो दुःसङ्गमुत्सृज्य सत्सु सज्जेत बुद्धिमान् सन्त एतस्य चिन्तन्ति मनोव्यासङ्गमुक्तिभिः सन्तो नपेक्षामच्चित्ताः प्रशान्ताः समदर्शिनः निर्ममा निरहङ्काराः निर्द्वन्द्वा निष्परिग्रहाः तेषु नित्यं महाभागेषु मत्कथाः सम्भवन्ति हितान् नॄणां जुषतां प्रपुनन्त्यघं ताये शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति ह्यनुमोदन्ति चाद्रुताः मत्पराः श्रद्धानाश्च भक्तिं विन्दन्ति ते मयि भक्तिं लब्धवतः साधोः किमन्यद् अवशिष्यते मयि अनन्तगुणे ब्रह्मणि आनन्दानुभवात्मनि यतोपश्रयमाणस्य भगवन्तं विभावसुं शीतं भयं तमोपेति साधून् संसेवतस्तथा निमज्जोन्मज्जतां घोरे भवाब्धौ परमायनम् सन्तो ब्रह्मविदः शान्ताः नौर्दृढेवाप्सु मज्जताम् अन्नं हि प्राणिनां प्राण आर्तानां शरणं त्वहं धर्मो वित्तमृणां प्रीत्या सन्तोर्वाग्बिभ्यतोरणम् सन्तो दिशन्ति चक्षुंषि बहिरर्कः समुत्थितः देवता बान्धवाः सन्तः आत्माहमेव च वैतसेनस्ततोऽप्येवम् उर्वश्यालोकविस्पृहः मुक्तसङ्गो महीमेताम् आत्मा रामश्चचारः इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् 11 स्कन्धे ऐलोपाख्यानं नाम 26 ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम, श्री भागवत शरणं मम, श्री सद्गुरु शरणं मम, श्री सूत शरणं मम, श्री शुकदेव शरणं मम, श्री व्यास शरणं मम, श्री नारद शरणं मम, श्री कुमार शरणं मम, श्री ब्रह्मा शरणं मम, श्री विष्णु शरणं मम, श्री परब्रह्म शरणं मम, श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम, शरणं मम, शरणं मम। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। ओम मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। श्रीमद्भागवतं पुराणतिलकं यद्वैष्णवानां धनं यस्मिन् पारमहंसवे मम बलं ज्ञानं परं गीयते। यत्र ज्ञानविरागभक्तिसहितं नैष्कर्म्यमाविष्कृतं तच्छृण्वन् प्रपठन् विचारणवरः भक्त्या विमुच्येन्नरः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् 11 स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ पंचविंश षड्विंशो अध्यायौ। श्रीभगवानुवाच saluting entire Guru Parampara of Bhagavata and the Rishi Parampara and Guru Tattva Parampara and all the Devatas is must be an essential part of our life, not only till we get established on the path towards the goal, but even beyond. Because it is only their grace, that is through our remembrance, prayers, and puja, that can protect us from falling and also can empower us to rise. The one who recognizes this way the presence of divinity in the form of the Lord and Gurus and recognizes the power of their blessings and consciously, intelligently invokes their blessings continuously through various upasanas and pujas and prarthana. He alone can be on the spiritual path constantly, steadily. Those who don't invoke the grace, infinite or power of Guru and Devata, because their own individual power and efficiencies are not sufficient enough, to some distance they may travel in the path. Thereafter, whenever any heavy problem comes from within or without, then he gives up the path. He goes away. You and I have to be on the path with all our strengths and abilities at the same time. Whenever our strengths and abilities are not sufficient to go through all the difficulties, troubles, inner and outer, what we need is the empowerment, the encouragement, the blessings of the Ishvara and all the Gurus. Never ever throughout life forget it. Therefore, every day namaskara, pranams to the Guru Tattva, the Guru Parampara of Bhagavata and in general, and our Gotra, and our Gurudev and the Parampara, and also the Devatas. Now we have already seen the chapter 25, which has exhaustively given all aspects of the infinite power of the Lord, called as Prakriti or the Shakti or Avyakta or Avyakruta, in simple words called as Maya. It has got only three gunas, not the fourth one, and three gunas, not two. Among those three, two are binding ones, one is liberating one. So the binding gunas we have to transcend by entering into the liberating guna. Use that liberating guna for liberation through Adhyatmic sadhana. To explain to us this summary, Bhagavan has detailedly explained to us the influence of these three gunas at every moment in our life of activities, perceptions, experiences. Not only that, in the beginning, that was the topic. When these three gunas are there, how our inner personality looks like. Then, after the presence of three gunas in the world, also in what way it is there, that was also shown. And within us also, because of what gunas, what activity happens through us, what attitude happens to us, as a result of which lokas we go into, or which sukha dukkha bandhana we get into, almost all details are told towards the end or in between also and the towards end. The most essential topic that was discussed was these three gunas belong to Prakriti or Maya. And the Prakriti Maya gunas are owned by the Jiva. Not they are any time binding the Purusha or the Paramatma in us. So I, the Jiva, discovering that I am bound by these three gunas, I am the one have to put my efforts to transcend these three gunas and identify myself with that gunati, the Paramatma Vastu. That's called moksha. So the one who is in the gunas is called as Jiva, he is bound by the gunas. The one has gone beyond the gunas, he is no more Jiva, he is one with Paramatma, he is Mukta. Okay, this is the main essence. And to convey this and to encourage us, these last five slokas and the next chapters, 2, 3 slokas, Bhagavan gives us all inspiration. So, the first slokas up to the 29 are the information and conviction they're all about. From verse 30 till the end, it's called the encouragement and inspiration for us to do sadhana and what is the sadhana. So the concluding first point is what? Essence of what has been discussed so far is in the 30th sloka, it is given. Look into that sloka, we will chant and we will see what it is said. Dravyam deshaha phalam kalaha jnanam karma cha karakaha shraddhavastha krutirnishtha traigunyah sarva evahi. So these mentioned items and some of the non-mentioned items, all of them are of three guna types. All these things are depending on the three gunas, they are of three types. Again, among those three types, all these items only, when they are of the Rajoguna and Tamoguna type, they bind us. When they are of the Satoguna type, they help us to get liberated. Therefore, our conscious all the time effort is to eliminate all the Rajo Tamoguna aspects of these things, or these list of the things in Tamas and Rajas, they are there, that we have to eliminate. Same things which are done through the Sattva Guna, that thing we have to practice in our life. This is a list of few items in which our life depends on. Our life, our human life, Jiva's Jivanam is endowed with these things only. So, what are the 7, 8, 9 things that are said? Dravyam. So, the Dravya also three types: Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. If I value the Dravya of Rajasik, Tamasika, those gunas enter me and I get bound. If I value the Rajasic Dravya, then that will help me in evolving. Dravya we said about the Bhojanadi Vishyas and all the Vastus that are there. The objects of interest, object of entertainment, the object of consumption of the food, and all the Pancha Vishyas which are perceived through all the Pancha Indriyas, they all are said to be Dravya. So, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all are Dravya. Those Dravyas, each one of them are of Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika type. So, Rajasika, Tamasika, Dravya Sevanam, if you do, we get bound. Satvika, Dravya Sevanam, we do, we are helped to go toward the Paramatma. Among them, the important thing is of Bhojanam. So the tamasika dravya makes us deluded and more ignorant, because with the tamasika dravya bhojana, the mana buddhi become blunt. The rajasika dravya called as bhojana here as an example, when consumed, it creates so much of kama, krodha, adi vikara, which pushes us to do the papa or adharma, as a result of which we are given all the dukkha and naraka. When the dravya, example of food, is sattvika, that goes to make the sattva guna mana. The sattva guna mana, one side will have all the values, second side will have all the devotions, third side, that mana antakarana will be subtle enough to listen, contemplate and understand about the truth of Paramatma, the untruth of the Jagat. This is one example of dravya we spoke. Choice is ours. All the three dravyas are always available in front of us. When you go to a shop, when you go to fruit shop or vegetable shop, तीनों तरह के होते हैं, सात्विक, रासिक, तामसिक. ले लिया रासिक तामसिक, फंस गयो. Selected the sattvic, we have helped ourselves. See, it is so simple. Without much of the worry or tension, start consuming sattvika things, give up rasic, tamasika, slowly, steadily they go away. This will be told to us in the next chapter, one of the important sloka. Next chapter is ultimate. Last 4-5 chapters, what we are seeing. In fact, from the chapter 1 onwards of this Skandha, everything is $1,000,000. Important. That's why so much we are studying each one. मैं तो हर एक चैप्टर 3 दिन में 2 दिन में ख़त्म करूँ, ऐसे मन से आता हूँ. But where is it? We have to study, repeatedly study. Then only at least the feeling about the meaning of that shloka comes. Forget about the deeper understanding and conviction. Even 15 days we study each chapter. Still, how much is the memory we have? How much of the conviction we got it? How much repeatedly we have to study, therefore, to our useless capacities where we don't have capacities only. In that way, next chapter, those few beautiful thoughts come. Anyway, so that in this chapter, we are very clearly seeing Dravaya example of start consuming the Sattvika. And one thing you remember, it is my goal, it is my conviction to reach the goal. Therefore, to reach the goal, it is my commitment or strong willpower which makes me give up Rajas Tamas and take up Sattva. Again, I am repeating. I have to reach the goal called as Paramatma. For that, I have to do all the Adhyatmic sadhanas. Adhyatmic sadhanas are possible only when the Antakarana is Sattvika. Antakarana or Vyaktitva becomes Sattvic only when I am dealing with Sattvic things. So, therefore, I will involve in Sattvika and at every any cost, I will give up Rasika Tamasic. The type of strong willpower and conviction to reach the goal, therefore I have to do it. I will do it every cost. That alone will protect us. If you are little loose in that, lighter in that, take it for granted type of, then our dreams of reaching the goal, doing sadhana, always remain as a dream zone. We can never be able to make those dreams come true. We will continue to be in the same world of karma phala, and that karma also ashuddha papa dharma karma, entering into all dukkha yonis, clear it, again come, again do the papa dharma, like those thieves and all. They are caught, put in the jail, they go through that for 6 months or 1 year, come back and do the same thing, again they are caught. Again they go. See those smugglers, the all पकड़े जाते हैं, फिर भी बार बार वही करते. There's no difference between them and us. They are better than us. They are only doing the outer Baba. We are doing outer and inner Baba, only involving in Ras and Tamas, getting caught up again into Jiva Bhava, Deha Tadatmya, and all the different types of inner desires, outer activity, again and again, again and again, again and again. Dravyam example is given. The all other list also. We not elaborately explain them, just mention them, you can understand. Ideshaha. As a human being, as long as we are alive, with our body intact, we need to go to different deshas, or we feel like going to the deshas, or the different deshas will invite us. We have to be choosy and selective. The deshas also are three types: Tamasika, Rajasika, and Sattvika. The Vanam, Sattvika Pradesham. Then all these are all the Grama Ityadi are Rajasika places. Then Dyuta Sadanam all Tamasikam. That was already told in the earlier shlokas. So deshas are also three types. And in studying all these things, one thing what you have to keep always in my mind is gunas are so powerful. We should not take them lightly. उनसे खिलवाड़ नहीं करना, कहकर कि जाऊंगा मैं उस देश which is तामसिक और राजसिक, still I will maintain my सात्विक mood. ऐसा चैलेंज नहीं लेना, because definitely we will lose that game. Because when we go to tamasic rajasic dehasha, we may restrain ourselves from involving at the outer level, but the place itself will create some thoughts, impressions in our some samskaras. Wherever we are, even little weaker we are, that will overpower us. It's like you have gone to rajasic tamasic place. All the food items, let us say rajasic tamasic. You got commitment for yourself, therefore you did not consume them. Everybody offered, but तुम लिया नहीं आप. घर आ गए with a thought of victory, that I did not involve in tamasic rajasic things, though I went to that place. But mind you, you saw them, they forced you, you denied it. All those impressions are inside. Then if any weak movement arises in your own mind, though you are in your own freedom at your own house, nobody is to force you, etc., still the thought comes. When that thought comes 5, 6, 7 times, then that thing which we denied having gone there to the tamasic rajasic place out of willpower, the same thing we order or get at our own place wherever we are, we become victim. That's how the power of this rajas tamas works. And anytime the power of these gunas of Maya are more powerful than our willpower, our conviction, our own knowledge, our own wisdom. लगता है कभी कभी हमने उसको हराया, लेकिन वो लगने की बात है, एक्चुअली बात तब लगता है जब पता चलता है कि वो हमको कांकर किया है. नहीं, सेकंड पॉइंट, when we know our goal is satvika, come what may, we will not go to rasic tamasic. Why not stick to this decision, which is very healthy? Always remember that Hindi कहावत, न रहेगा बांस न बजेगी बांसुरी, न रहा चिंगारी न हुआ जलना. चिंगारी तक भी होना नहीं, पूरा बुझा दो ताकि वो भड़के ना, उसमें कुछ भी तेल गिरे और कुछ भी हो सकता है, हवा लगे. This is what is the intelligent person does, which will be spoken to us in this chapter here, tomorrow day after Viduraniti, in many of the beautiful texts. This is what I, when I am all alone with myself, in a good sattvic mood, have to do the contemplation to protect myself. Sometimes I do Tattva Chintanam. Sometimes I do Upasana of the Lord. Sometimes I thank the Lord for all His blessings. Sometimes I do Bhajan Kirtan of the hymn. Sometimes I do the Japa. After all that are done, little spare time whenever is there. At that time, we have to think about this. Ki come what may, I will not take myself and the place for granted. I will never go to Rasik Tamasic place, even if somebody invites me, tempts me, blackmails me in any way emotionally. This time, in the cool, calm mood, when we strengthen this thought, actually, when that temptation or invitation comes, we'll have strength and guts to say no. Saying no is a painful thing, but that pain is worthy than saying yes and suffering. Is it not? And it millions of times in our millions of lives earlier, million times we were on the on the conviction that we want to do spiritual sadhana, which is possible through sattvika guna. We were always serious, sincere, genuine. But in all those million times, every time we took the Rajo Tamoguna for granted and gave them chance, and they took the chance and they overpowered us. Same thing happened to us in this life also, known or unknownly, till now from birth. That we took it for granted, the Rasic Tamasic things, and they overpowered us. Then we became Rasic Tamasic, unfit, misfit for the sadhana. Sadhana calls for Sattva Guna. Always Nidra, always agitation, always anger, always desires. Very less times there is bubbling enthusiasm and joy for study Shastra for long time, for deeply contemplating the theme and meditating. हिम्मत ही नहीं होती, थॉट ही नहीं आता, आता है तब वही एक सेकंड के लिए आता है. Immediately some rajo tamoguna thought comes and says, you just shut up, how dare you think Satvik, get out of that, come to our original state of thumbs. Okay, we enter into that. In this very life it happened, it was going on happening. And in last life, earlier life also, some guru, some acharya told us this. But little bit we understood. In this life also we are told, little bit stronger we have to be. What is stronger thing? It is my conviction to reach the goal. Therefore, it is my conviction to develop Sattva Guna. Therefore, it is my conviction to get rid of Rajas Tamas. That I have my willpower to say no to them. Everybody, सबके लिए ऐसे ही करना होता है. There is no alternative. As regards the Rajas Tamas are concerned, there is no dearth of them. They will pour on us, especially in this Kali Yuga, so much uninvited. सात्विक चीजें तो छुपे छुपे कहीं कहीं रहते हैं, उसको ढूंढ के लेना पड़ता है, बच के रहना. What is said in Gita, second chapter, that 54th or 50th sloka, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha. There is no greater understanding and technique of sadhana than this, as given by Krishna Bhagavan. Same thing will be there in the next chapter. Niraharasya dehinaha Vishayaha vinivartante. When I refuse the objects of rasic tamasic, they slowly go away from me. So too, when I keep on welcoming the sattvic things, they keep on coming to us. Niraharasya dehinah vishayaha vinivartante. This is a Mahavakya. Opposite of that is what? Arasya dehinah vishayaha punah punah agachanti. The Vishayas here is the Rajasic, Tamasic, all the list of things of which two we have seen so far. This has to be very clear in us. This Manana Chintana is called making our information as knowledge. Then the knowledge becomes conviction. Out of conviction comes the commitment for sadhana. Only sadhana gives us result. Neither the understanding, nor the feeling, nor the desire. करने से साधना साधना होता है भाई, खोजने से मांगने से नहीं होता हो. That's the beginning only, not the end of it. So, deshaha, be choosy about the places. Sattvic hai to hi jana. Clear? Then the third one is kalaha, phalam, phalam, phalam. So the phalam is what? Anything when we do, the phala we have to keep in mind. On the basis of that only, we have to involve in that karma. Phalam we can say is as an offering by the people. Maybe they liked us or we are deserving it. So they give different phala. Like phalam we can call it gifts. दे में गिव रासिक तामसिक गिफ्ट्स. हमको नमस्ते करना है, लेकर और कहीं रख देना. हमको तो सात्विक है तो ही लेना बस. People out of their own love, compassion, so many things they don't know. They don't have all this vidya or all that. Out of love they think chalo de dete hain, they give. But we have to be careful about whether to receive them or not. Rasic, tamasic, denied. Sattvic hai to accepted. Clear? Fourth one is kala. The kala also is of सात्विका राजसिक तामसिक. सो बच के रहना है तामसिक राजसिक कालों में. हो सके तो even that tamasic rasic kala, as much as possible we have to do the sattvic activities only in that. And the sattvic kala, let us not make it rajasic or tamasic and spoil it. Rather, use that sattvic kala for sattvic sadhana. What is the meaning of this? कि early morning 4:30 उठ के टीवी लगाना. That is not sattvic kala. Involving in all the disturbing news of the world and the day starting only with all disturbance, that is spoiling the sattvic kala with a rajasika activity. Or tamasika. Go into the refrigerator, eat bulk of the food, again sleep at 4:30 and get up till at 8 o'clock again to have breakfast. सात्विक काला को राजसिक तामसिक दुष्कर्म के लिए यूज करना, ये गलत बात. That time we have to get up use for sadhana. Try to do it from today, tomorrow start, that 4 to 6, 7 a.m., that 3-4 hours as much as possible. In the same way, the rajasic kala of the whole day, in and through that by remembering God, by maintaining the quietness, calmness, let us make even the Rajoguna Karya or the Kala somewhat touched with the Sattva Guna. So to the Tamasic Kala is after evening 6-7 p.m. Kala is Tamasika, but thoda sa bhajan, thoda sa kirtan, some of the Purana, Patanam, Shravanam, karte, taking the name of the Lord, even that Tamasic into the Nidra, we should enter. A stage should come wherein even Nidra should become Sattvic. Entire day's activity of Dharma also should become Sattvic. And whole morning we are in Shuddha Sattva Sadhana. These are possible. These are to be made possible. This making possible effort is called sadhana. Nobody can do it for us. It is our conviction, our willingness. And entire life is given for that only. That's what will be told by the Lord in the 33rd mantra of this chapter and also in the first sloka in the next chapter. Now, these are, though with limited language and vocabulary and ability to speak, we are trying to say. But what we are able to say is only 3-4-5%, 95% more emphatically, powerfully. The speaker should speak about, the audience, listener should be listening it. Because they are the crux of sara of the entire Shastras, from the mouth of Lord Krishna toward the end of his avatara, giving to his own great disciple Uddhava, which has become the final portion of the Bhagavata, that to Mukti Skandha toward the end. इस पोर्शन का इंपॉर्टेंस कभी भी कम नहीं रखना. Like in Gita, those 15, 16, 17, 18 chapters. 2 to 14 are also great, grand, glorious. But जो 15 में जो पुरुषोत्तम योग है, 16 में दैवासुर संपद है, 17 में श्रद्धा, 18 में मोक्ष है, they are the most finer, higher topics. So to hear Bhagavata in this. Clear? So dravyam, desham, phalam, kalaha, desha, phalam, kala. Fourth one is called jnanam, information, knowledge. So the prakruta jnanam is tamasika jnanam. Then Bheda Jnanam is Rajasika Jnanam. Then Kaivalya Ekatva Sthapana Jnanam is called Satvika Jnanam. Therefore, read only those books, only those programs you watch. Talk, discuss with only those people who give the Satvika Jnanam. What is Satvika Jnanam? The oneness, the commonness, the universality. That Jnanam alone is worthy of listening. If we read those novels, see those programs which are different, establishing the differences so strongly that mutually there is enmity, quarrel, etc., then even little positive of possibility of goodness, love, oneness in us, which was there like a bujta hua diya, wo bhi bujh jayega. Then our entire mind will be talking in the language of te tu tu मैं, tu tu मैं. Maya mora tora tai maya. Never allow the Bheda Jnana of Rajas, also the only Dravya Jnanam of Tamas, where we see the objects and we see the utility of the objects, then that utility creates a desire in us, then to enjoy that object, we do something. That's what Tamasika Jnana. See, when you have a cell phone, if you search for the temples and spiritual books in that Google, you are searching for Sattvic Jnanam. If you are searching for variety of the things which create the differences, we are using the Google for Rajasic Jnanam. And सिर्फ कहाँ का होटल है, रेस्टोरेंट है, क्लब है, कैसीनो है, then you are only trying to gain the tamasic jnana. I'm just giving an example in today's model में. हाथ पे है सेल फोन, उसमें गूगल है, क्या ढूंढ रहे हैं आप, कौन सा ज्ञान पा रहे, which information which you are gathering is to be very careful. In fact, tamasic rasic jnanam is ajnanam only. Like aparavidya is aparavidya, it's not vidya only actually. Here also, the jnanam is 3 types, very careful about. And the sattvic jnana in which the oneness of Paramatma established, whichever the Upanishads talk about, Upanishads talk about that only. Keep on reading them, keep on studying them. By any means of jati, dravya, kula, gotra, linga, vaya, no cause should become, no reason should become cause for establishing the differentiations in our heart. As regard the vyavahara is concerned, you may have to show the little difference in the activity. What food you give to grandchildren, you can't give same to a grandfather. व्यवहार में फर्क है, लेकिन सब में एक ही परमात्मा है, सब में एक ही भूख है, भूख सबका मिटाना, खाना अलग देना. इज इट नॉट? दवा सबको देते हैं लेकिन सबके बीमारी दूर करना. दैट इज व्हाट द गोल ऑफ डॉक्टर. इन द सेम वे एकत्व ज्ञानम, अभेद ज्ञानम, कैवल्य ज्ञानम, try for it. That is what is said here. Then karma cha. So we have seen the 3 types of karma also. The tamasika, rajasika and sattvika karma. Himsa prayadi karma, tamasic karma, phalasakti rahita karma, rajasic karma, phalarapasakti rahita, and dharmika and bhagavad arpita karma, sattvic karma. We saw all that. Then we saw karakaha. The sangi, too much of attached, is called as asangi is the sattvika karta. Then sangi is the tamasic karta. Then rajasic one, the moh mein jo hota hai, wo tamasic wala, that also we have seen. That's called karakaha, the doer in us. Like I am doing this pravachana. Is this pravachana karta in me, karaka, karta, tamasic? Then he is in moha, smriti vibhrama. What he is speaking, he doesn't know. Whom he is speaking, he doesn't know. How to speak, doesn't know. Tamasic. Doing with phalapeksha, etc., then the karaka in me is rajoguni. But I am just doing as an offering to God, to Gurudev, to Shruti Mata, to Rishi Parampara, and as my service to you all, whoever are the audience, सात्विक हो गया है कारक. कर्ता हमारा सात्विक होना चाहिए. Clear? Then we saw Shraddha. All the 4 types of, no? That Adhyatmik Shraddha सात्विक हो गया. then Vishayasakti Shraddha, Karma Shraddha is Rajasic ho gaya, then Adharma Shraddha is Tamasic Shraddha, then the Nirguna Shraddha is always looking for an opportunity to do the seva of the Lord. What looking for opportunity? Creating an opportunity and seeing, doing only the Lord's seva. That inclination, that liking is called Nirguna Shraddha or Gunatita Shraddha. Okay, then Avastha, the three Avasthas also were discussed. Then Avastha is three, Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti. So the management of that is what? Swapna should be minimum. That will be done when in Jagrata Avastha, we don't involve in anything too seriously, too strongly with too much strong ego. Nidra should be only that much, which will rejuvenate our Dehendriya Manabuddhya. That should be. Thereafter, the remaining 16, 17 hours of Sattvika Dina, which is Sattvika Amsha, should be used only in service for Antakarana Shuddhi, Upasana for Dekagrata, Yoga Sadhana for Chitta Shuddhi, then ultimately Jnana Sadhana for Brahmatmika Bodha. That is the meaning of Avastha. These are all to be known. Avastha aspect, many a times we neglect it. We justify also ourselves. What do we do there? Especially the third avastha of Nidra, we give so much value, importance. It is valuable, it is very important. But undue importance value given to it. Is it not? 8 घंटे, 10 घंटे, 12 घंटे, जहाँ मौका मिले वहाँ सोते गए, and do such funny things in waking plane of all the tiring, exhausting things leading to our Nidra only. Rajasic activity, Tamasic Nidra. Rajasic activity, only these two most of the people do. There's no time left for the sattvic activities at all in the day. सात्विक करने का मूड ही नहीं है. घर में किताबें शास्त्र रहते हैं, पूजा मंदिर होता है, सात्विक कर्म करना पड़ता है जाकर. They don't go for months together also. Mainly the men folk. In some houses, men do the puja, women are busy in all clubs, kitties. इतना रास में फंस गए थक गए कि द तामस वी डू एंड द तमस आल्सो सो मच बिकॉज हेवी फूड एंड ऑल कि उसका ना 10 घंटे सो गए फिर भी कमी लगता है. एंड दैट लाइफ वेयर 8-10 hours ऑन द बेड लाइक बेड बग एवरी डे ऑन द कुर्सी इजी चेयर सोफा में टीवी सामने बैठ के बाहर जाकर झूले में छी छी दरिद्र परम दरिद्र लाइफ. Don't make your children like that. Nowadays, all are tending towards that only. As I'm saying, lot of punya doing jivas are getting lot of purchase capacity in this life. Instead of using that for, any of the sattvika cheeze, they are misusing all those ability, capacities, wealth, etc. for the rajoguna only to enter into tamas. Why is happening? सेम थॉट वी आर रिपीटिंग एवरी डे बिकॉज एजुकेशन सिस्टम में इन गुणों के बारे में उसके द्वारा होने वाले बंधन या मोक्ष के बारे में एजुकेशन नहीं है. द होल हिंदुइज्म सनातन और शास्त्रास विच टॉक अबाउट इंडिविजुअल्स prosperity as well as realization is totally packed and thrown just because one name called secular country, just because one reason that all other religions are there, therefore we have to be equal. Let it go on. That is the prarabdha, the Durbhagya prarabdha nation. But you and I, the Hindus, when we know the purpose of the life and when we know the guidance given by our Shastra, if we don't study ourselves, if we don't teach our children, when will they know about the Prakriti, the three guna, the binding aspect, the liberating aspect, how to manage ourselves? Kab hoga, kaisa hoga? Mind you, the study of our Shastra in which these topics covered is million times greater than the entire world of books of how to achieve success, 7 steps of success, 25 steps of success. Then this great achieved person has did life like this IAS first ranker was living like that. ये सारे बच्चों का खेल है if you study the Shastra, because in that all these things and much more are clearly given. Interview with the top ranker. Very good. The one जिसका भाग्य में शास्त्र नहीं है, उस दौर्भाग्य यूजलेस स्टूपिड फेलो के लिए दैट इंटरव्यू इज यूजफुल. बट द वन हु स्टडी शास्त्र, वो तो बच्चों का खेल है. what they have done, because thousands of things are given. Are you not seeing in Vidura Niti every day? Are you not seeing that in our Bhagavad Purana everyday classes in Ramayana? Our Shastras, as regard the wisdom is concerned, are like ocean. Any other religions or any of the other books of any great Mahatma are like drops and waves only. There is no doubt, having gone through all that for so many years, out of conviction we are speaking. Clear? About we are talking of the Shraddha Avastha. In that Avastha, Jagrad Avastha ka jada sadvinyog karna hai. Our two jobs are make full use of waking hours and then increase waking hours and make full use of them. Full use is only for spirituality. Then Akrutihi. The Akriti is all the akaras, all the objects, everything around us. Then Nishtha, whatever our convictions, commitments. Akriti means the shape of your in general personality. आपकी अवलिया तामसिक अवलिया है, राजसिक है, सात्विक है. The aura which is known to everyone. अभी आंख बंद करके देखो, पता चलता है कि हम कौन से गुण में हैं. बट बाय द टाइम पता चल जाए, हम उस गुण में चले जाते, निद्रा वाला. निष्ठा त्रैगुण्य सर्व एव ही. So these things and any of the things unmentioned, most of them are mentioned only. All of them are available in three gunas. When you go to onion shop, bazaar, you will see there is onion 100 rupee kg also there. There are onion 50 rupee kg also there. The onion 6 kgs for 50 rupees also there, or 100. Just like that. Anywhere in the world, the high top 5-star hotels are there, 3-star also are there. Then the railway station type be there. Is it not highly qualitative? Ornament shops are there, mediocre are there. छोटा दुकान है, ऑर्डर दे तो बना के देते, ऐसे वाले भी. So too, in these all objects, the high level, high quality is sattvic also, the mediocre rajasic also, the third rate tamasic also are there. सावधान, खुद अपने आप को सावधानी में रख. And take all this knowledge which we are listening to the heart, very deeply, seriously, sincerely. For doing so, whatever the conviction, whatever the concentration, whatever the application is required, you do that. That will happen when, while we are in the house, anywhere, in between the classes, that time we have to be careful. In those timings, if we involve in too much of activities, people, projects, with so much of agitated mind in the class, by the time you come to the concentration level, class is over. Remaining all 1.5 hours, the class में जो भी बातें बताए जा रहे हैं, बस इधर लगते हैं चले आते, इधर लगते थोड़ा इधर भी नहीं जाते, इधर भी नहीं जाते. Because of that much, we are even now sitting in the class, our worry about what dinner to make, where to go tomorrow, whom to meet. So much disturbance में ये जो इतना प्यारा सब्जेक्ट है शास्त्र का, मुक्ति देने वाला, इतना इम्पोर्टेंट है ना, वो उतना प्यारा भी इम्पोर्टेंट भी लगेगा ही नहीं. लगने के लिए पहले उसको समझना है ना, समझ ही नहीं सकते हैं. समझना है तो पहले ध्यान से सुनना है ना, सुनना भी नहीं होता. This is the problem we are diagnosing for you and me after the 2 years of experimentation. That even after listening so much, why we have not become so deep in our sadhana, commitment, conviction? Because the knowledge is not sinking inside. Why? Because we are only at the surface level. Why? Our minds are agitated with so many things. Among those 2000 things, one thing is classes. Classes we have learned to come sincerely, but the subject. Subject means what? I must have this knowledge always remembered in me. Shrutam me gopaya. God's grace anyway is there. His effort, His grace of making the knowledge remain in us all the time is He is giving us 6 classes per day. वो कर सकते ही है. You know, Shrutam me gopaya. How to make the heard knowledge remain in us? Only when it is repeated. The two types of repetitions are: one, we have to repeatedly contemplate; second, the Guru tells us repeatedly. So the Guru telling us repeatedly is happening. The other thing we have to do, myself repeatedly in between the hours. Now you and I for the next 2 years, है ना, 9 तारीख 6 महीना 22 से 9 तारीख 6 महीना 24 तक काम क्या है? बाकी समय में अपने आप को बचाते हुए ये जो सुना हुआ बात है, नॉलेज वट एवर यू आर गेनिंग, दैट शुड सिंक इन. We should feel for it. We are feeling at that time, at that day, like when we were studying Mandukya. Feelings were so strong कि thoroughly we should study Agama Prakarana, Vaitata Prakarana, Advaita Prakarana, Aladasha. अब कहाँ है? गयो? And don't blame me. Swamiji, you are doing so many classes and forcing. I'm not forcing you, and I'm taking class only 6 hours. बाकी 18 घंटे आपके ही हैं. So too, the chapters earlier what we studied in the 24th, the 23rd ones, they were so important appearing that time. अब भूल ही गए उसको. Even now, this chapter of 3 gunas, so exhaustive with studying last 16 days. Still, when we go to next Ailopakyanam, it appears to be gone. Why is it so? Not because we are doing another classes. That's not. Every class is strengthening only. क्योंकि 6 क्लासों में घूम फिरा के एक ही बात बता रहे ना. But the other time, only one difference we have to bring in our life. What is that? More important serious is study and sadhana, less important serious is worldliness. If this much we can bring the change without telling anybody, within ourselves. है ना, कितने गुस्से से या मेहनत से आप अपने घर के बच्चे बहू बेटे लोग आपके बात माने, आपके प्यार से करें, ऐसा सोचते हैं ना, उतना ही भला भगवान के लिए करना. हम बस इतना ही चेंज. We have taken all the happenings of the world so seriously and so long, and we have experimented and seen what was the result. Never fulfilled and ever greedy. Is it not? Now let us try this. How I please my Lord. Lord is pleasing us by blessing. He gave us human life. He has made us be born in Sanatana Dharma in India. He has sent gurus to us. घर में बैठे बैठे sofa में. Guru is sitting on the asana. You are more lucky to sit in sofa with all reclination. What more God can give us now? How I can please Him? That should be my thought. Let us try for that for few months. आइडियाज तो बहुत है. ऐसा करो, 2-3 आइडियाज देता. एक, एवरी डे few hours trying to please the God. Remaining time try to please the useless world. Or every week, 7 दिन हो हफ्ते में, तो 3 दिन I will please the Lord. 2 दिन लगाओ, ठीक है. 5 दिन फंसे रहो, या 1 महीना लो. फर्स्ट वीक of every month pleasing the God. कुछ तो सोच कर डिसाइड कर कर करने से होता है. And commitment in that. 1 week I am totally pleasing the Lord. Nobody in the world. How much or they are liked by you, you like them. वो बाकी 3 हफ्ते. ये 1 हफ्ता सिर्फ मेरे प्रभु के लिए. So too in a 6 months period, 1 or 2 months. In an year, 1 or 2 months. That चतुर्मास ऐसे होता है दीक्षा. 8 महीने घूमते हैं, 4 महीने बैठकर जो घूम कर सीखा है उसको अंदर कर, मतलब they make it deep in their heart. Chaturmasa Diksha is for that. Understood? Somehow or the other we have to help ourselves. Otherwise it won't happen. Then comes Traigunya Sarva Eva. In this way all are made of 3 gunas, my dear friend. Except Parabrahma Brahmatma, everything in the world has got 3 types, 3 gunas. We have to be careful in choosing Sattva Guna. That's the idea. Now, Sarve Gunamaya Bhava Purusha Vyakta Dhishtita. First point is Sarve. Second is Sarve Bhavaha. Third point is Sarve Bhavaha Gunamayaha. Fourth point is Sarve, these Bhavaha, which are Gunamayaha, are Purusha and Avyakta Adhishtita. All Bhavas means presences or names or forms in this entire universe are made up of 3 guna. Point 1, 2, and those Trigunatmaka, every name and form in the world, as the Adhisthana as Purusha, the Paramatma, Avyakta, that is the Maya Prakriti. So Purusha और अव्यक्त दोनों अधिष्ठान है ये विश्व के सारे रूप नामों में. सर्वे भावाः गुणमयाः पुरुष अव्यक्त अधिष्ठिताः. Everything is endowed with Paramatma and Trigunatmika Maya. In that, whichever the guna that is there, Paramatma is common. Having said so, which are those bhavaha? Sarve bhavaha gunamayaha said no. Which are the bhavas? Which are the objects? Bhava means objects. Drushtam, Shrutam, Buddhya, Anudhyat. All those things seen by the eyes, called as all the forms. Shrutam, all the things heard by the ears, the sounds. Then Anudhyatam, all the thoughts, concepts, emotions that are made in the mind and intellect. All these bhavas are gunatmaka, trigunatmaka. In every one of them, the Paramatma Tattva is there and the Maya Prakriti Tattva is there. The Trigunas. Hey Purusharashabha, oh my dear Uddhava, try to understand. Now, from this, what you have to understand, therefore, we have to differentiate and separate the Prakriti aspect from our identity or attachment and enter our identity into the Purusha. Then we are freed from the Prakriti. That is why we have to do. That's what the sadhana we have to do. Now, this verse 32, आप कुछ भी कहो बहुत 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 इंपॉर्टेंट है. कल हमने टच किया, बताया भी, but because it is so very important, we failed to repeat it, and slowly we'll explain one by one word like we explained the earlier shloka. Be as attentively as you are so far in today's class, like every day. So one by one. एताः संस्कृतयः पुंसः गुणकर्मनिबन्धनाः. This is a problem. Then solution. ये नेमे निर्जिताः सौम्य गुणाः जीवेन चित्तजाः bhakti yogena mannishtah. This is a sadhana to be done. What is the phala? Madbhavayopapadyate, madbhavaya prapadyate phala. So the samasya, sadhana and siddhi. Samasya, problem, sadhana to be done, siddhi to be achieved. What is the samasya? Ki pumsaha etaha samsrutayaha. For the human being, all these samsrutis, all these samsara gatis. Samsruti, whenever you listen, you have to understand as the janma and marana, and it means doing all the things by all the forces of outer prakriti and inner nature, as there is love which again pushed into other world. This is called as samsruti or samsara. So all these, every moment we are in samsara. What is the meaning of samsara? In me, the gunas, because of the guna, because of vasanas, I am forced in some sankalpas, some desires. I am forced to do that work. Definitely that work is giving me result. To get that result, I am pushed, thrown here and there. This chakra is called as samsruti. And this is going on every moment happening in one life. Life after the life, it is happening. In short, there is no stability, there is no pausing, there is no just waiting at one place and remaining in the blissful state. So, etaha samsrutayaha pumsaha. For all the pumsa in jivas, the samsara of avidya, kama, karma, karma phala, janma, marana, all of them are why guna karma nibandhanaha. They are binding him because the karmas done by him by giving the phala, and karmas are he is doing the karma because of these three gunas. So तीन गुणों का मैं गुलाम हूँ. गुण जो है मेरे अंदर अलग अलग संकल्प ले आते हैं. संकल्प के कारण मैं कर्म कर रहा हूँ. कर्म फल के लिए संस्कृति में प्रवेश कर रहा हूँ. संस्कृति मीन्स बर्थ एंड डेथ. Different bodies I take. In each body again different friends, relatives, objects. Endless. Once in a while in life, detaching from involvements, we have to be an observant and see which place we are placed in. Who are the people around us? What they are giving us, sukha or dukkha? What are the objects that are there? What are the professions that are given to me I'm doing? What are the thoughts that are continuously gurgling in me? Which type of body I got? थोड़ा हटकर समझने से पता चलता है कि आई एम बीइंग फोर्स्ड बाय समथिंग टू हैव ऑल दिस थिंग. This doing all this is called samsruti. The force of this is called phala. The phala is because of karma. Karma is because of the gunas. The gunas are in the form of vasanas, in the vasanamaya kosha. So in my vasanamaya kosha, whichever the gunas are predominantly there, that type of sankalpa vikalpa come, and that type of activity I do, that phala comes to me. For that phala I go there. हटकर देखना है। देखो कौन से फैमिली में जन्म लिए, कौन से बंधु मित्र हैं, कैसे पेरेंट्स हैं, आर दे सात्विक रासिक या तामसिक, आर स्पिरिचुअल और नॉन स्पिरिचुअल, व्हाई आई द जीवा आई एम पुट इन दिस, what is the cause? Then is it okay or should I aim at the better one? If I want the better one, then what my preparation should be? Is it not? This is called as guna karma nibandhana. आपके वासना में कोश में आप ऐसे गुण भर के रखें, that is coming as kamana, and you are doing karma kamya karma, and you are nibandhana with this samsruti. एते गुणमयाः एताः संस्थया पुंसः गुणकर्म निबंधनाः. Therefore, as long as the vasanas are there of these three gunas, especially rajasic, tamasic, so long that type of thoughts, sankalpas, desires, that type of activities, samsara continues. And nobody is denied of this knowledge. Everybody has a duty as well as the right to gain this knowledge. This is called real vidya. That's why in Gita, Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. The Vidya among all Vidyas is Adhyatma Vidya, and that is me, he says. Yetat Jnanam iti proktam Ajnanam yadato anyatha in 13th chapter also. The main Vidya is Adhyatma Vidya. Adhyatma Vidya is twofold. One is as a Purusha, my essential nature, it is a final Paravidya, Adhyatma Vidya, Sri Vidya, Atma Vidya, Tattva Vidya, Brahma Vidya, Brahmatma Bodha Vidya. Apart from that, I as a Jiva, how I am getting influenced by this Maya, the Prakriti, the Trigunas? अब थोड़ा रुको, सोचो, समझो, पढ़ो. That day we said 4 days back, if you remember, हर पल हमें कॉन्शियस रहना है किस गुण वाला विषय में हम इन्वॉल्व हो रहे और इसका रिजल्ट पर्यवसान कॉन्सिक्वेंस क्या होगा. That awareness. The moment a rajasic, tamasic thought came, if I entertain it, it becomes a vasana. Therefore, with the Rama Bana, called as Rama Nama or Rama Chintana, that thought has to be thwarted. That is called as sadhana. Sadhana is not once a day, 1 hour. That is initial days. Later on, every moment is a sadhana. All the time I am in sadhana. That stage we have to reach to. We can't take for granted anything. All that I am saying from the basic point, थोड़ा हटकर अपने अंदर जा क्या हो रहा है. एक दो आत्मज्ञान के बाद, दूसरा मैं एज ए व्यक्ति, अंतःकरण में तमोगुण, शरीर में तमोगुण, सारे वस्तु समुदाय अराउंड में तमोगुण रजोगुण, and the people also are same, topics talked to them also are same, going with them to different places. I say, Hare, what am I doing with my life? This should be the first vidya to be taught. That's what is my point. Once this type of barricades or protecting shields or the kavacha of the correct knowledge is given, wherever the child goes, according to these times, because of his profession, wherever he goes, he will be a protector of himself and contributor to the world around. जिस बच्चों को अपने घर में अपने बच्चों को सात्विक चीजें सिखाया, जिसमें सुबह 5 बजे उठना, नहाना, पूजा, इवन इफ गोज टू अमेरिका, यूके, यूएस, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, जहां भी जाएगा, he'll continue this routine. Then the places, the works, the people around, the things tempting, none of them trouble him because he is given the basic knowledge. बच्चा अपने आप को सत्वगुण बढ़ा के रजस तमस से बचाना. You teach them. You may not teach any of the other shastras, I don't mind, but teach the 3 guna topic to all your children. It will make your knowledge pakka. For that, this chapter and chapter 14 of Gita, study 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times. Write your own notes. Spend 2 months for that. उसके बाद the guna vicharana, guna vishleshana, keep telling. There is nothing greater than this contribution to the world today we can do. Okay, now the problem is told, Pumsa eta samsudaya. The being is going through all this samsara. Why? Guna karma nibandhanaha is bound by the karmas, forced or prompted by the gunas. Problem. Solution क्या करना चाहिए? येन इमे निर्जिताः सौम्य गुणाः जीवेन. तो येन जीवेन हे सौम्य ये इमे गुणाः निर्जिताः. Yena jivena he saumya. He saumya, yena jivena ime gunanishta. That jiva by whom these gunas are conquered. Okay? Where are these gunas? Chitta jaha, in your own antakarana. In the form of vrittis. तो सात्विक वृत्ति, रासिक वृत्ति, तामसिक वृत्ति, उससे ही बाकी सारे श्रद्धा, कर्म, गोइंग टू डिफरेंट प्लेसेस, ईटिंग डिफरेंट फूड्स, all the outer things are based on the vrittis of the chitta. Therefore, chitta jaha gunas, the one whoever has conquered them, this is what is sadhana to be done. Okay, achieved. How to do that? What is the sadhana? Bhakti yogena mannishtha. Yesterday we touched upon this topic. It requires more elaboration. Man nishtaha, keeping goal only, nishta is goal. Paramatma ko hi goal banakar. Okay? Then how do you get the goal of Paramatma? Only by His grace. How His grace comes to us? Only one sadhana called as Bhakti Yoga. तो भक्ति योग साधना से, भगवत कृपा से, भगवान रूपी लक्ष्य पाने का दृढ़ विश्वास और प्रयत्न के द्वारा ही these three gunas of the chitta can be conquered. Having done this, whoever the jiva he does it, what is the phala for him? Mad bhavaya prapadyate. He will reach to my state of being. He will be experiencing that nitya atma ananda, sat chit atma ananda. Mad bhavaya prapadyate. He will reach to my prapadyate means reaches out. Prapati is prapannata. Prakarshena padyate. He very well reaches out to my state of being, where I am in an experience of liberation. What is liberation now? According to this topic, liberation from three gunas. Three guna caused maya. माया प्रकृति उससे उत्पन्न तीन गुणों से मुक्ति ही मुक्ति है. तो गुणातीतता इज द मुक्ति. And how the gunatita mukti comes? Only by bhakti. Same thing in Gita. Mam chayah avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevyate. What is avyabhichara bhakti? Never giving up bhakti sadhana even for a moment. Whoever are doing seva to me with the avyabhichara bhakti, sa he alone, gunan samatite etan. Having conquered or crossed all these three gunas, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, he becomes qualified for discovering the Brahma Tattva as his own essential self. This was the last but one shloka of this chapter 14 of Gita. In the last shloka, Bhagavan Brahmano hi pradishta amrudasya avayasya cha shashvatasya dharmasya sukasya ekandikasya cha. By saying so, in that shloka, he talks about the Brahma Tattva's glory as it is the substratum of everything. It is the only reality. Reaching that alone is Ananda or Mukti. All those things he talks there. And it's a huge thing through Bhashya. We will study when the time of Gita comes in our life. Maybe this year, December or next year, 1.5 साल की सिर्फ गीता पढ़ेंगे. I may stop all other classes. सुबह दोपहर शाम, सुबह दोपहर शाम गीता करते जाओ, 6 महीने हो जाएगा. Every day, even one shloka you do, 6-7 months is done. 3 times. Beautiful that it is there. So here also, bhakti yogena manishtaha madbhavaya prapadyate. The one who has me as the goal and does all the sadhanas of bhakti, when he does this, he will cross all the three gunas which are born in the chitta. Having done so, he will reach to the goal called as Madbhavaya Prapadyate. He is Manishta, his goal is me. Therefore, Madbhavaya Prapadyate, he will reach to my state of being. Now you understand why we have to be involving in Nirantara Bhakti Yoga. That by that only our nishtha of wanting to reach Paramatma is fulfilled. Without our this spiritual involvement, continuous, constantly, the guna conquering will not happen. Clear? So in this way, having said, अब now the 3 श्लोक जो सारा क्रक्स मसाला वाला है, this is called taking the audience or listeners into confidence. So the problem diagnosed, solution is explained, then the patient taken into confidence, and in that mood, 3-4 points doctor says, भैया देखो इसमें ऐसा करने से ऐसा होता है, ऐसा करने से ऐसा होता है, ऐसा करने से ऐसा होता है, इसलिए ऐसा ऐसा मत करो, यही करो. How nice that is. And these 3 shlokas cannot be brushed aside or browsed through. Equally important as the earlier 3 shlokas for which we have spent the entire day. He says, Tasmat, therefore, Deham imam labdva, having obtained this human life. याद है सबको? हम सब मनुष्य है कि नहीं? परी बन गए क्या? Deham imam labdhva. And what is the glory of this human life? Deham, when you say human birth, human life, jnana vijnana sambhavam, in which the jnana theory is thoroughly understood, which we are doing from last 16 days from the guna standpoint. These are the two gunas binding, this is the third guna liberating. This third guna having gained that, when that is used for the higher goal, then we get liberated. These are all called jnana. Possible only in human life. And in the human life only, the vijnana is also sambhavam. Vijnana has two meanings. The practice of the theory learnt and the experience out of the practice as a result of practice. Sambhavam. Now those who are in tamo guna of the Rakshasa yoni, Asura yoni, itna khao piyo sojao mein. No, you see all those two people, the Ravana and Kumbhakarna, always extorted his fellow Ravana, किसको अटैक करूं, किसको मारूं, किसको पीटूं. हम उसको बैठ के बेटा सत्वगुण पहलो सुनेगा क्या हो. एंड हिज ब्रदर कुंभकर्ण सेम में एक दिन उठेगा, इतना खा खा कर he will have 2000 matka full of daru whenever he gets up. Then a huge piled up mountain sized, all the animals dead or alive he will have to have as food. Then after so many years only he'll get up only again to eat food. अब ऐसे बंदे को बुला के यू टेल हिम जी तुम सत्वगुण करो, होगा क्या. सो टू दिस हिरण्यकश्यपु, who is again power mongering, destroying all good people or dharma. Then Hiranyaksha again indulging in all the things earth. These are all I am telling the Asura yonis, not possible. So too the Deva yonis, Devatas. मैं इतना मेहनत करके भूलोक में पुण्य करके स्वर्ग में आया हूँ, सब छोड़ने के लिए थोड़ी आया हूँ. मैं फिर से भूमि में जाऊंगा ना. दैट टाइम आई मे डू साधना. अब तो मेरे को एंजॉय करने दो. I am explaining you in contrast why it is said only in the human life the jnana vijnana sambhavana is there. To say this, it is not possible in other places, though Bhagavan said without saying, we are saying it. Asura yoni, Rakshasa yoni, Daitya yoni, not possible. Deva yoni, we already said, they are all enjoyment, bhogamangarars. Beautiful gardens are there, swimming pools are there, or natya gayaka nartakis are there, sab bhojya padarthas are there. All are earned by your own punya. Is it not? Then one has earned the punya only to enjoy that, no? Having gone there, hoga nahi, your mind, the atmosphere there is bhoga pradhan. Like some people think, na, along with family members, we'll go and we take a japmala and pustaka, let them go for enjoyment, we'll do japa sadhana. सोचते ही जाते हैं, but नहीं होगा वो, because the atmosphere is that type. It is their willpower, commitment, okay, they take the book and japmala. They may even attempt, but उतना नहीं होगा जितना आपको सात्विक स्थल में होता है वो. It cannot happen. A 5-star होटल में बैठ कर ओम नमः शिवाय कैसा होगा आपको, all enjoying things you see. होगा तो उतना इफेक्टिव नहीं होगा. कर पा रहे हैं तो he must be yogi. He has gone there out of compulsion or some obligation. That's good. Understood. Now the other aspect is the pashu pakshi yoni. बेचारे दिमाग है कहाँ उनका सुनने के लिए कि मैं जीव हूँ, मैं लक्ष्य परमात्मा है मेरा. है तो हाउ कैन द एनिमल्स हैव ऑल दिस, हाउ कैन द बर्ड्स हैव, हाउ कैन द ट्रीज हैव, हाउ कैन द स्मॉल इंसेक्ट्स एटसेट्रा. कौन इनमें से किसको है बताओ एक ज्ञान विज्ञान संभव है compared to them that way. Therefore our human life is so wonderful, great or not, one has to feel, and we are into that. This should be told to us when we were in 10, 12, 15 years age, so that in the last 50, 60, 70 years, whatever, we would have fully utilized it. But never mind, अब तो सुना ना, और उसके बाद सारे काम के लिए जीवन के लिए हमारा दुकान बंद. एक ही काम, दो ही काम, मन को सत्वगुण बनाओ, उसको भगवान में लगाओ. Close the entire life for anybody. Even if entire Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha calls you that अगले president आपको बनाएंगे. अभी elections हो रहे हैं ना, तो यहाँ पे बनते हैं year ending में होना चाहिए. So they find you to be such a great noble person. They tell you, let us say, आपको हम देश के अध्यक्ष बना. जाओगे क्या? इवन इफ इंदिरा कम्स, भाई थोड़ा मैं सीएल में जा रहा हूँ, थोड़ा तुम ना थोड़ा नहुष जी की तरह ये 6 महीना थोड़ा इंदिरा लोग को संभालना. Are you understanding? Everything when we can say no and sit, close eyes, dharma zamanta, japa puja, upasana, japa puja, upasana, only that. And see to it that this rajas tamas is reduced by any way and sattva is growing. Use that sattva for the sukshma study of the adhyatma shastras. Then reach out. That's what he says. Tasmat deham imam ladva jnana vijnana sambhav. That's what he said. Guna sangam vinirthuya. Just wash off all the involvement, indulgence, attachment to all the three gunas, especially the rajas and tamas. Vinirthuya. So dhoke fek do. Vinirthuya mam bhajantu. You do bhajan of me to reach me as the goal. If at all you are vichakshana. Tum common sense rakhte ho. Vichakshana means wise people, intelligent people. Those who want make their life fruitful. Those who have that type of discrimination, that type of common sense, that type of sense of responsibility, duty, all that is called as vichakshana. अगर तुम विचक्षण है, ये गुण संग को धो डालकर तुम मेरे ही भजन करके मुझे पाओ. ये मानव देह पाकर जो ज्ञान विज्ञान संभव इसमें है, which is not there in other yonis. No more clearly than this, as an information, as a knowledge, conviction, inspiration, who else can give batao? Now we have to understand that a lot of lopa are in us. Lopa is shortcoming. That our interest, our shraddha on our own life, these we are lacking. So improve them. गुरु शास्त्र भगवान जो कर सकते हैं ये बताकर उन्होंने कह दिया, कर दिया. अब बाकी सब अपने हाथ में. सारा सब्जेक्ट समझा के, टेक्निक समझा के, आइडियाज देने के बाद more than that they cannot do sadhana for us. समझे, इतना कह दिया अभी आप ही कर लो ना हमारे लिए साधना. नहीं होता. There are some things I can do for you. Some things you have to do. The eating food, taking medicine, good rest, as well as removing the ignorance by the ज्ञानम, हर बंदे को खुद को करना पड़ता है, दूसरे नहीं कर सकते. I can't eat for you and see that your hunger goes away. You can't take medicine for me that my disease goes away. So too, I can't have my jnanam gained for removal of your moha or ignorance. नहीं होता. होता तो कर देते हैं. My dear friends, we are not what do you call coming out of our responsibilities. Shrugging कुछ word कहते हैं ना. We do that. It's not possible, no? यार जो पॉसिबल है पूरा पूरा कर रहे हैं ना, सारा शास्त्र सुना के सब कुछ. अब जो नहीं पॉसिबल है हम कैसे करें? That is why I told you the other day, maybe 22 days back, in all our shastras, nowhere it is told, बेटा तुम कुछ नहीं करना, सब कुछ अपने आप हो जाएगा या मैं करूंगा. Nowhere it is told. If it is told like that, it need not be told only. Let the Lord do. Why should he tell? And what is told in all shastras is do. करो 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 करो. Means what? करने का हमारा कर्तव्यता है. We only have to do. बता चुके हैं क्या करना. हो गया. Now in the last 3 shlokas, how the rajas tamas conquered by sattva, how the sattva is transcended by using it for Paramatma, that will be told. Good time today. So these 2-3 shlokas we study, then we enter into our 26th chapter. Now this 26th chapter, though I'll tell all that tomorrow, a small thought I'll tell you. Two of the most important topics of the Adhyatmic Sadhana are spared by the Lord as if to cover it towards the end. Those two are there in this. And what are those two? I'll tell right now. अब जितना भी शास्त्र पढ़ो, साधना करने का कोशिश करो, one enemy will be with us throughout our journey of sadhana till last moment. One enemy, dangerous enemy, powerful enemy, looking every moment for opportunity to defeat us and become successful also. That enemy is called as kama, the lust. That topic is very exhaustively explained through the song sung by the Raja Pururava, who is Putra of Ila, therefore is called as Aila. Ila, Putra, Aila, Aila Geetam. Like we saw the Bhikshu Geetam, in the Bhikshu Gita about the mind it was told. In this Aila Geetam, who was in his attachment, infatuation to Urvashi, what happened to him, how he fell to such a lowest level, and how by God's grace he used the discrimination and understood the highest, that portion comes. And I tell you, आप कुछ भी करो बिना काम को छोड़े साधना नहीं होगा, और इस कामना कैसे छोड़ना है समझकर that topic comes here. And as it may be a laughable thing to you too, whenever I say that this chapter is important, this is important, you may remember and all that. But here तो genuinely हर बार भी कह रहे थे, this chapter also is most essential, because this disease called as a lust will be behind us in every yoni. देखो अर्थ कामना हमेशा नहीं रहता. When you are पशु पक्षी, there is no desire for wealth there. Whatever little food is required, तो ना बाकी सब छूट जाते हैं हर एक योनि में. Every yoni, what doesn't leave us is the lust, and in every yoni, because of the indulgence, there is a pashu or pakshi, that vasana becomes strong, which when we become as human, trouble us so much, how लाख कोशिश करो वो छूटता ही नहीं. How to understand all that? And they have 3-4 slokas, all the chapter, those 3, 4 or 5 slokas which come out of that great singing of Pururava, the Aila, Raja Aila, Samrat Chakravarti are masterpieces. मैं तो उसको लिख कर चिपकाऊंगा मेरे तो दीवार में. मैं कहता हूँ आप भी कर लेने ये बात. Every day, much more than doing your upasana and puja in front of Lord, study these things. Because you did upasana, puja so many days, result of that only is availability of these great shlokas of Bhagavatam. That topic is covered in chapter 6, first part. Second part may, therefore, the only way to count of this is satsanga. And in that last portion of 15-10 shloka, Bhagavan Krishna explains the Santa Purusha Mahima and Satsanga Mahima. ये तो दिल को छूने वाले सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है दोनों. We are going to study that. Now you see in so many chapters of 11th Skandha, how much of wisdom. याद है आपको 300 दिन हो गए हम पढ़ते आ रहे 11वां स्कंद. 289th day today or 88. Still, and we have seen only little. How kind, compassionate are our rishis, munis. Then I have not taken Govinda Vakya or Sridhara Vyakya, which are there for these shlokas. Like Bhashya we are studying for the Upanishads, iska bhi bhashya hai, Vyakhyanam hai. They, the great Mahatmas, visionaries, great sadhakas, experienced people, to them what is the exact meaning of each shloka is revealed. Those, they wrote it as commentary. We are not doing all that. We are अपने दिमाग में जो दूसरे शास्त्र पढ़े उसके अनुसार हम explain कर रहे हैं. Though this is also useful. Okay. In this way, we will stop here today. 3 more shlokas are left. That we do. And introduction tomorrow starts of this chapter up to Aila Uvacha. We may do a little more. Then what are these songs? How he sings those shlokas. And how to, every one of them, without any inhibition, without any hesitation, पक्का exhaustively we are going to study. ये छूट गया तो फिर पता नहीं ऐसे टॉपिक कहाँ आएगा. ठीक है, be ready, prepared, your small group for me. I'm very happy. Everything can be discussed exhaustively and understood. Thanks. Om Krishna Arpanam, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasa Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vajishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All Shri Bhagavat Mahapurana Shastra ki jai, Veda Vyasukadeva Bhagavan ki jai, Sadgurnath Maharaj ki jai. चलो भैया.